This is Brendan with Sons of Speed, and today we'll be driving the C7 Corvette Grand Sport. And not just any Grand Sport, this is the collector's edition that Chevrolet used to launch the Grand Sport at the Geneva Motor Show.
Chevy announced that they would make 1,000 of these collector's edition Grand Sports, but they actually only ended up producing 935 of them, and only 200 of those came with the excellent 7-speed manual transmission that we have here. All collector's edition models require the top-level 3LT trim, which does get you upgraded Nappa leather seats with microfiber inserts, microfiber A-pillars, microfiber door inserts, and microfiber on the steering wheel and the shifter, as well as navigation and Chevy's awesome performance data recorder. At a cost of almost $10,000 though, the 3LT package isn't cheap, but compared to the 2LT interior, the materials definitely feel much nicer. The collector's edition package adds $5,000 and was the only way to get its most distinctive feature, this tension blue interior and Fender hash stripes. You also get a satin black center stripe, special embroidered floor mats, these interior hash marks, Grand Sport sill plates, and of course a special plaque with your car's unique number. It's also the only way to get this incredible quilted roof liner with matching tension blue stitching. But it's almost as if Chevy didn't quite finish this collector's model.
For example, the Sport on the Grand Sport in the steering wheel has been changed to tension blue, but on the fender and the door sill, it's still red, which is puzzling because in Geneva, this was tension blue. But thankfully, the aftermarket has stepped up to pick up where Chevy left off.
There. That is so much better. The Grand Sport has been described as the Goldilocks of the current Vette lineup, and that is just about right. It has the dry sump heart of a Z51 Stingray, but the wide body, much wider tires, and the excellent brakes and brake cooling ducts from the Z06. In fact, the only major visual differences between the Grand Sport and the Z06 are the side badges, the color of the taillights where the Grand Sport gets red and the Z06 clear, and the hood where the Z06 gets a slight bulge to accommodate its supercharger. Without a doubt, the Grand Sport certainly looks the part of sophisticated muscle. And it goes the part as well. The 335mm wide rubber puts the power down more efficiently than the Stingray's 285mm wide tires, which means the Grand Sport gets to 60 and through the quarter mile 0.2 of a second faster than a Stingray. The increased contact patch and bigger brakes also shorten stops from 60 by an astonishing 17 feet, doing the full stop in just 90 feet. But with up to 1.18 Gs of lateral grip available with the Z07 package, the Grand Sport is bred for winding roads and racetracks, not the Strip. So we took the Grand Sport to Gingerman Raceway in Michigan, where it promptly chopped a whopping 3 seconds off the best Z51 time we could muster there. The Grand Sport just had so much more grip and such better brakes, we found we could go much deeper into braking zones and carry a lot more speed through the turns, especially the long sweepers. For a car with the same exact power as a Z51 and an extra 130 pounds to propel, a 3-second improvement is truly astonishing. Credit goes to the huge rotors measuring 14.6 inches up front and 14.4 inches in the rear, as well as much larger 6-piston Brembo calipers up front. And if you want even better brakes, opt for the carbon ceramics, which add almost a full inch in rotor size, front and back. Just be ready to shell out about 12 grand when they all need to be replaced. Now, we had so much fun at Gingerman Raceway the first time, we decided to come back and see what throwing on a set of racing slicks might do.
And these aren't just any racing slicks. We're on A7 Hoosiers that are 315 wide in the front and 345 wide on the rears. just to give you an idea, the stock is 285 wide in the front, only 335 wide in the rear, which is still wide. This is even better. So the only weak link in a Z51 is really the brakes. They just can't stand the heat very well, and they tend to fade after 20 to 30 minutes of a session at the track. The Grand Sport can run all day with the larger rotors, the larger brake pads, the 6 piston calipers up front instead of the 4. It just does an amazing job, and you never feel any brake pain whatsoever. And that's the great thing about the Grand Sport. You never have to really worry about the tires or the brakes. You have more than you can use in both categories. And that's really what you want in a track car. You just want to be able to be confident that the car's going to hold on and that your brakes are going to be there. So right away with the slicks on, you notice you just have so much grip. It's really ridiculous. The car already was hooked up like insanely, and these things just grip like crazy. I mean, that turn-in is ridiculous. It just goes where you point it. This car is such a perfect track car. It doesn't have the overpowered engine that the Z06 or GR1 has. It's got a perfectly balanced, naturally aspirated motor that doesn't throw power on at you when you don't want it. It won't overheat on you. It has just the right amount of power to make you fast, just the right amount of balance to really make you fast. It's a perfect track car. G-forces are immense. Little rotation. It's okay. Car's so balanced. Let's go.
At this point, the tires and brakes were warmed up, so we ran it real hard to try to get our best lap time.
Looking hard at the brake. Go, 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 go.
This 140.94 wasn't bad, but I knew there was more in the car. Now what I was really looking for was a time in the 130s, and on the very next lap I almost got it.
Coming in hot. Woo! Come on, baby. Come on.
While this lap's 140.45 got me within a half a second of that goal, just a couple laps later, we got our best time of the day. And here it is. So while we didn't quite break into the 130s, we did take over a second off our best time on street tires.
I don't know what the magnetic ride update really does for you on track. It really helps on the street. I'm not noticing a huge difference from what I remember pre-upgrade on the track. I can tell you though that the Hoosier A7s just feel so nice and neutral and balanced. They do start to, slip but ever so slightly, and they're just talking to you the whole time. Okay, we're here at the edge of grip. It's we're just going to move a little bit. We may skip a little to the side. No problem. Just let up a little bit. You'll come right back to it. No issues with grip whatsoever. It's really an amazing tire. It's on an amazing car.
On the street, the Grand Sport makes twisty roads an absolute hoot, and the wider tires make the car feel more planted and stable, but it will also make you fear things like bank drive-through lines. You see, the rear measures 77.4 inches, 3.5 inches wider than a Stingray. It's not quite as wide as, say, a Lamborghini Murcielago, but you still can't shake that nervous feeling driving this thing that you might accidentally curb it. We're not sure if GM actually changed anything in the 7-speed manual transmission, but the engagements feel much more positive than the 2015 Z51 we reviewed, although getting 7th when looking for 5th still happens on occasion. We wish Chevy would just add a 7th gear lockout when the car is in track mode, as that's one place you'll never need 7th gear. Magnetic ride on the Grand Sport is standard, so the firmness of the ride is up to you. 2017 and 2018 models should definitely take advantage of upgrading to Chevy's newest calibration settings, which are now standard on 2019 models. The update really enhances each mode's purpose. In its softest setting, the suspension soaks up smaller bumps with total ease, whereas the Sport setting lets you feel everything without being overly jarring. We can't tell you from first-hand experience the remapped mag ride settings are well worth the $350 cost. One thing you should not do is attempt track mode on the street, as doing so will almost certainly end in a bent wheel.
And while we're on the subject of bent wheels, this is one of the Grand Sport's unacknowledged weaknesses. There have been widespread reports of bent wheels on Z06s and Grand Sports without any outward appearances of damage. Apparently, the wide wheels simply aren't strong enough to keep from bending under normal driving conditions. And you take it to the GM dealers, and they're basically like, we've never heard about this before, but it's all over the forums, and so there's a definite problem. And even Taj has answered one of our questions as to what's going on with the bent wheels. So it's probably a good idea to keep your wide body Grand Sport away from any rough roads, and definitely this is one of the cars you will want to take the wheel and tire package that's offered to you at the dealership when you buy it, because one of these wheels is really expensive, not to mention the tires.
If you've seen our review of the 2015 Z51, then you already know we are huge fans of the C7's all-new interior, and nothing much has changed for 2017 and newer C7s, except that a new power hatch means gone are the days of slamming the rear hatch closed. Also much improved is the removable top's fit and lack of squeaks. The carbon fiber dash is included with the 3LT trim, which really completes the sport look of this beautiful cockpit.
So why spend the extra $5,000 on a Grand Sport over a Z51? Two reasons: brakes and grip. The Z51 is a great car, but its Achilles heel is the brakes just don't seem to last an entire track session without going soft. The extra cooling and the extra rotor surface and the better front brakes on the Grand Sport really help it to give you that very confidence-inspiring ability to brake late into turns, never worry about whether the brakes are going to be there or not when you go hit the pedal. And that really results in better lap times. There's so much grip here that we just really didn't even have the guts to find its limit. And it really just results in a track-focused car. In fact, this is the track-focused car that the Z51 inspires to be. So, if you want the best handling, best looking Corvette that can run all day at the track without breaking a sweat, while besting cars that cost well over $100,000 more, then look no further than the C7 Corvette Grand Sport. For Sons of Speed, this has been Brendan. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, throw us a comment below, let us know how we're doing, and we'll see you next time at the track.
Alright, thanks for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button right there. And check out the rest of our channel for more great videos.